Let me start by thanking the Gen Zs, the young people of this nation, for the reawakening that they have given to all of us by protesting, by raising their voices, and by marching for freedom, marching for attention, and also marching against the injustices, the exclusion, and marginalization of their voices and the voices of other Kenyans. I want to appreciate them, and when I see them, the young people of Kenya who are doing this, I see myself many years ago. This is where I started, and this is where my children and young family members are. Oh, every generation has a key and important role to play in liberating and building the society from which they are. And the young people must be given the accolade and support that they all deserve. Having said that, I also want to urge the police and the national government responsible for law enforcement to at all time make it conducive for demonstrations and protests to be peaceful. Encourage it, because when it was put by Kenyans in the constitution, it was put there not for ornamental or vestigial reasons. It was put there as a right that all Kenyans must be encouraged to enjoy. And as a government, the same constitution enjoins us to support Kenyans in their bid to realize their right to demonstrate. The police have not been helpful in this regard. The police are supposed to police the nation, and they are supposed to police it in such a manner that Kenyans enjoy rights as enshrined in our founding or our constitutive document and other statutory statutes that we have in this nation, including international conventions. So I want to urge the police and law enforcement agencies to make sure that protests of any kind by any Kenyan or any entity should be supported within the confines of law. I want to call upon the young people and any other person who may want to protest to do so, but to do so without hurting business, without threatening life, and without making other people's lives unbearable. I want to state that in Migori and in other parts of Kenyans, some faceless and lawful persons have hijacked some of those demonstrations and have caused untold suffering to our people. These are people that should not be part of demonstrations or picketing, because demonstration and picketing are for us for special voice of the people to be heard. Now that yesterday the two sides of governance of a nation came together, I want to add my voice to what I saw and what I believe should take place. Every development, political, social, or economic, will always start or justice will always start as a form of struggle. If history teaches us, before we attained self-rule and independence as a nation, there were the Mau Mau struggles and other forms of struggles that made it impossible for the few white settlers and their government, the United Kingdom's government, to continue lording it over us. It was a fight, it was a struggle, there was a sweat, there was blood, and many losses. But eventually there was a dialogue. We all recall, I think with joy, Lancaster Conference. We all recall with joy the deliberations that took place that gave us a structured independence. When we got too excited with the power, the generation of the 60s and 70s, and made Kenya a one-party state, again there were fights and there were lives were lost, property was destroyed. But dialogue came forth. People discussed under IPPG. We got, not before IPPG, we got back multipartyism. I was a part of that struggle as a young person. I was in university at that particular time. Quite a number of us lost opportunity to study. Some went to jail, some got killed, maimed, and a lot of property was lost. We thank God that we are still alive today. But in order to resolve that, there was dialogue. And out of that dialogue and reasoning together, we regained multipartyism. If you look at His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, he was one of the people who was constantly afoul the law, and he was detained and jailed for many years for fighting for change. But eventually, dialogue prevailed. If we come back to the issue of IBC, you remember the first electoral management body was called ECK, and it was a product of IPPG, which was a dialogue or a discussion that led to its birth. After that, we have had IEBC, and even this was as a result of discussion. The new constitution was a struggle, and all these struggles start out there as protests, as demonstrations, but ultimately it is through dialogue, it is through discussions that the people can cut through the noise, people can sieve political differences, ideological differences, and reduce the discussions into implementable resolutions. So having that in mind, I want to add my voice and the voice of ODM in Migori County, because I'm the patron of ODM. I know the officials can speak for themselves, towards supporting the discussion, towards supporting the dialogue that has been proposed by the President and has also been proposed by Azimio, because we cannot resolve our issues if we are not talking, if we are not discussing freely, and if we are not inclusive in that discussion. My further proposition is that the discussion should be free and include as many people who want to participate in it as possible. I want to encourage the young people, the Gen Zs, to seize the opportunity and join in that discussion. Those who are available can join it. Those who choose to protest can continue churning out areas of concern through peaceful protest. But any attempt at refusing to dialogue is not the way to go. There is no other way. There is no other opportunity. There is no other methodology other than Kenyans coming together and discussing. If there is a thinking that that time that is proposed is not enough, I believe those things are not cast in stone. But let us embrace dialogue. Let us embrace the participation of all segments of society, educated or not educated, all people of all walks in life in Kenya, to engage in this dialogue. I recall when I was a little younger as a member of parliament, one of my colleagues who was being accused by some people of being too old, he pointed it out to them that you cannot talk of a forest when you're only mentioning small trees or young trees. That's called a nursery. A forest comprises trees of all ages, of all species, and a forest is a beautiful thing. It's what we call the environment, and that's what God created and described as beautiful if you believe in the Bible.